The irony is glaring. Beth spent our entire marriage preaching about trust and loyalty. Whenever one of our friends had relationship troubles, she was the first to judge. I could never understand cheating, she would say, perched on her moral high ground. When you love someone, you're faithful. Period. Hey there, I'm Beth. You ever have something from your past crash head first into your present? That's exactly what happened tonight. I'm sitting in the car next to Alex, and the silence feels like it might swallow me whole. My grip on the steering wheel is tight. Probably too tight, but it's the only thing keeping me steady. Honestly, I could strangle Rachel right now. Out of all the things to bring up, she had to choose those college stories. Remember those wild parties, Beth? She said with that smug, knowing smile. I shut her down fast, but the damage was already done. I can feel Alex's unspoken questions hanging thick in the air, even though he hasn't uttered a word since we left. The streetlights flash by as we drive home, each one feeling like a spotlight on the secrets I've buried. From the corner of my eye, I see Alex staring out the window, his jaw clenched. He's probably turning everything over in his mind. That's always been his way, analyzing things until he makes sense of them. I used to admire that about him, but now it makes my stomach churn. The traffic's awful tonight, I say, trying to sound casual. Alex gives a slight nod, barely reacting. I can't stand it when he gets like this, all quiet and brooding. Why does he always blow things out of proportion? What happened back in college doesn't matter anymore. We're married now. It's ancient history. I drummed my fingers on the steering wheel, thinking about the way he pressed for details at dinner. So, when exactly did that happen? He asked Rachel, his tone too careful, too controlled, like he was solving a math problem, piecing together dates. I jumped in before Rachel could answer, steering the conversation toward her new job. But I saw it in his face. He was connecting dots I've spent years keeping apart. The truth is, I don't even know why I feel guilty. We were practically kids back then, doing stupid things that college kids do. Doesn't everyone experiment a little in college? Besides, I never thought Alex and I would last. Long-distance relationships rarely work out. Who stays with their high school sweetheart anyway? A car horn blares behind me, snapping me back to reality. I realize I've been sitting at a green light. Fantastic, just what I need. Alex shifts in his seat, but he still doesn't speak. The rest of the drive feels endless, like wading through quicksand. Part of me wants to spill everything, to make him understand. But another part of me knows that would only make things worse. And really, what's there to explain? It was college, end of story. When we finally pull into the driveway, I turn off the engine and the sudden silence feels heavy, loaded with meaning. Alex unbuckles his seatbelt but doesn't move to get out. My heart pounds, but I force myself to stay calm. I've dealt with worse situations than this. Ready to go inside? I ask, keeping my tone light and breezy. I'm exhausted. He finally turns to look at me, and there's something in his eyes that makes me want to shrink away. But I don't. I meet his gaze steadily, like someone with nothing to hide. Because really, what happened back then doesn't matter now. We've built a good life together. He wouldn't throw it all away over some college drama, would he? As we walk to the front door, I'm already planning how to handle this. If he brings it up, I'll downplay everything, make it seem silly for him to even be concerned. And if he pushes, well, I'll deal with that when the time comes. Right now, all I want is to get inside, pour a glass of wine, and pretend tonight's dinner never happened. As I turn the key in the lock, I think about Rachel and her big mouth. She probably thought she was just sharing some funny memories. She has no idea what she might have set into motion. Still, I'm not really worried. After all, what's the worst that could happen? Alex loves me. We're happy. The rest is just noise. Hey everyone, Alex here. Dinner started out completely normal, just catching up with friends, sharing jokes about work and life. Everyone seemed relaxed, enjoying the food and conversation. Then Rachel, Beth's old college roommate, decided to bring up their wild college days. The moment those words left her mouth, Beth's entire demeanor shifted. She cut Rachel off mid-sentence, practically snapping at her to change the subject. The awkward silence that followed was unbearable. Then came the moment that turned everything upside down. During a break, Tom pulled me aside in the hallway. His expression was serious as he grabbed my arm. "You need to have an honest conversation about what happened in college," he said quietly, then walked away before I could respond. Now, sitting in the passenger seat while Beth drives, everything I've ignored for years is crashing down around me. Something's been kept from me, something big enough that even now, our friends feel the need to warn me. Did Beth cheat back in college? The thought hits me like a punch to the gut. Suddenly, her behavior over the years starts to make sense in the worst way possible. Her defensiveness whenever those years come up. The way she avoids certain topics. How she shuts down when anyone mentions college parties. Little moments I dismissed are replaying in my mind. Her odd reactions when I visited her campus. How she'd sometimes be mysteriously unavailable on certain weekends. I couldn't ignore the odd looks some of our friends gave me during those weekends I spent driving 4 hours each way to see her. I had believed we were working hard to stay connected, doing everything to keep us strong. Every other weekend, no matter the weather, I made that drive because I believed in us. I trusted what we had. Our story had always seemed ideal. Our story had always seemed ideal. Our story had always seemed ideal. We started dating in junior year, young and certain that we'd last forever. The long-distance relationship through college was hard, but I never questioned us. Every visit felt like proof that we were meant to be together. Moving in together during senior year had felt like the obvious next step. After graduation, we got married. Everyone praised us as the perfect couple who made it work despite the challenges of distance. I believed in our future with everything I had. I never doubted her loyalty, not for a second. My trust was unshakable. Now, though, as I sit here, I can't help but wonder if I've been blind all along. Were those weekends I couldn't visit really about study groups and campus events? Was I ever getting the full story during our daily calls? The realization that Beth likely cheated during college feels like acid burning through every happy memory we built. Every mile closer to home feels like I'm approaching a confrontation I never imagined I'd face. I need her to admit it, to confirm what Tom hinted at during dinner, and what her reaction made all too obvious. Even if it tears everything apart, I can't just let this go. Some issues you can brush aside, and some arguments you can walk away from, but this is different. This is about the very foundation of our relationship. As Beth pulls into the driveway, my decision is firm. Tonight, I'm going to find out the truth about what happened in college, no matter how ugly it gets, or how much she tries to evade it. I'm done living with deception. The garage door closes behind us with an ominous finality. It's time to uncover if everything we've built has been a lie. Once we step inside, Alex turns to me with a look I've never seen before. "What happened during college, Beth?" His voice is sharp, cold. I try to play it cool, forcing my expression into one of innocence and confusion. "What do you mean? Nothing happened." "You're blowing Rachel's stupid comments out of proportion." I head toward the kitchen, desperate to grab a glass of wine, but Alex blocks my path. "Tom told me I need to have an honest conversation with you about college, so let's have it." His eyes bore into mine, and for the first time I feel my control slipping. "Oh my God, Alex. It was college. Everyone does dumb stuff back then. Why are you making such a big deal out of ancient history?" I try to laugh it off, but my voice sounds wrong. Too high-pitched, too forced, he repeats, his tone quieter but far more dangerous. "So something did happen." "Look," I say, waving my hand dismissively, even as my heart pounds. "We were long distance. No one thought we'd actually make it. You're turning this into something it's not." But his expression only hardens. "I'm going to pack a bag," he says, his voice flat. "I'll stay at Mike's." He heads toward the bedroom. "You're being ridiculous," I shout after him. "It was years ago. We were practically kids." I follow him upstairs, watching as he yanks open drawers and throws clothes into a duffel bag. This is spiraling out of control. "Alex, stop. You're overreacting. It wasn't even serious." He freezes and turns to face me. "What wasn't serious, Beth?" The words spill out before I can stop them. "Fine. I slept with a few guys during college. It wasn't a big deal. We were long distance, and I didn't think we'd last anyway. Everyone was doing it. The look on his face is one I've never seen before. Pure disgust. "Several guys?" he repeats, barely more than a whisper. "It was just a phase," I insist, trying to keep my voice steady. "I was experimenting, figuring things out. You can't hold that against me now. We were practically broken up anyway. I mean, who actually stays together through college?" "We did, Beth. We stayed together." His voice is full of bitterness. "I drove 4 hours every other weekend. I worked extra shifts to afford those trips. I called you every single night." He zips his bag shut with a finality that feels like a punch to the gut. "But now I know what you were doing when I wasn't around." "You're being so unfair." Panic rises in my chest. "That was years ago. We're married now. You can't throw everything away over some college hookups." Alex shoulders his bag and brushes past me without a word, as if I don't even exist. "Watch me." "This is insane," I shout, trailing him downstairs. My voice grows shriller with each word. "Everyone experiments in college. It didn't mean anything. I chose you in the end, didn't I?" At the front door, he stops and turns back to face me one last time. "You didn't choose me, Beth. You settled for me after you were done having your fun. And the worst part? You're not even sorry. You're just sorry you got caught." Of course I'm not sorry. The words explode out of me before I can stop them. It was college. It wasn't serious. Why should I apologize for living my life before things got serious between us? His laugh is hollow, almost painful. "Before things got serious?" he repeats. "We were together the whole time, Beth. You just didn't care enough to stay faithful." He opens the door, and his final words cut deeper than anything else. "I'll have my lawyer contact you about the divorce." A divorce? Over something that happened years ago? You're throwing away everything we have over nothing. His expression is one I'll never forget. Pure contempt. "No, Beth, you threw it away years ago. I'm just finding out about it now." The door clicks shut behind him, the sound somehow louder than a slam. I stand there in the entryway, telling myself he'll come back once he cools off. He has to. It was just college, after all. Mike's guest room is silent, but sleep won't come. Beth's words echo in my head. It was just college. It wasn't a big deal. Not a shred of remorse in her tone. Not an ounce of regret for betraying what we had. The way she stood there, annoyed that I was even upset about her sleeping around, makes me physically ill. My phone hasn't stopped buzzing. First it was Beth, then her family, friends, and even my sister chiming in to tell me I'm overreacting. "It happened so long ago, Alex. You can't end a good marriage over something from college," they all say. I finally lost my patience when Rachel, the very person who sparked this mess at dinner, had the audacity to text me. "Everyone makes mistakes when they're young. You need to forgive her." My response was short and firm: "Stay out of my marriage or stay out of my life. Your choice." That opened the floodgates. Suddenly everyone thinks they're an expert on relationships. "You're being too harsh," they say. "It was just a youthful mistake. Marriage is about forgiveness." The same people who spent years praising me for being married to such a loyal, trustworthy woman are now saying loyalty apparently doesn't count during college. The real kicker? Beth spent our entire marriage lecturing about trust and commitment. Anytime one of our friends had relationship issues, she'd be the first to chime in. "I could never understand cheating," she'd say, sitting on her high horse. "If you love someone, you stay faithful. End of story." All that time she was judging others while keeping her own betrayal hidden, and now she's acting like I'm the unreasonable one for being upset, as if I'm throwing away something special over nothing. She even said, "Everyone experiments in college, like cheating is just another required class you take between Economics 101 and English Lit." My brother tried to mediate this morning, saying, "Maybe you should talk to her again when you've cooled off. Think about your future." I shut that down immediately. "There is no future," I told him. She cheated repeatedly, hid it for years, and doesn't even think she did anything wrong. What's left to discuss? The divorce papers are already in progress. Even my lawyer seemed surprised at how certain I was. But some things you can't come back from. It's not just the cheating. It's her complete disregard for how I feel about it. Her refusal to admit she destroyed something sacred. Beth keeps texting me. You're throwing everything away over ancient history. No, Beth. You threw it away years ago. You just thought you'd never have to face the consequences. Her latest message reads, "Can we please talk about this like adults?" My reply was simple. We did talk. You made your position clear. Now I'm making mine clear. It's over. Then I blocked her number. Maybe some people can forgive betrayal. Maybe they can move past it. But I can't stay married to someone who lied to my face for years and now acts like I'm the problem for being upset. Her lack of remorse says everything I need to know about who she truly is. The divorce papers will be finalized tomorrow. There's no going back. No amount of pressure from family or friends will change my decision. Some lines, once crossed, can't be uncrossed. Some trust, once broken, can't be rebuilt, especially when the person who broke it doesn't even acknowledge they did anything wrong. It's been 2 weeks since Alex left and I still can't believe this is my reality. I've tried everything, leaving tearful voicemails, sending long apologetic texts, even having my sister try to talk to him, but nothing works. He won't even make eye contact when we exchange papers through our lawyers. Yesterday, I finally said the words, "I'm sorry," but even to me they sounded hollow. How can I truly apologize for something I don't believe was that serious? Yes, technically I cheated, but it was college. We were barely adults. His lawyer sent over the divorce papers this morning, and now I'm sitting here staring at them, wondering how everything fell apart so quickly. One dinner, one careless comment from Rachel, and suddenly my entire life is in ruins. The worst part? Everyone's acting like I'm the villain. Even my mom said, "Beth, how could you be so casual about cheating?" I tried explaining it to Mia, my best friend, yesterday. We were long distance. Nobody thought we'd make it through college. I was just living in the moment. She gave me the same disappointed look I've seen from so many people lately. "But you did make it," she said. "He drove to see you every other weekend. He planned his whole life around you." "That's not fair," I snapped. "You can't judge what I did back then by who we are now. I was young." God, I hate how everyone is painting me as some kind of monster. Alex is walking around like this tragic hero, soaking up all the sympathy while I'm the evil ex-wife who crushed his dreams. He's convinced everyone I'm heartless, that I don't care about what I did. Maybe I should care more. Maybe I should feel worse about it. But every time I try to feel guilty, all I feel is anger. Anger that he's throwing away our marriage over something that happened ages ago. Anger that he won't even consider working through it. Anger that everyone is taking his side. The divorce papers are still sitting on the table, mocking me. Our entire life together has been reduced to a stack of legal documents, all because of some meaningless college flings. I tried showing remorse. I called him, crying, telling him I wished I'd done things differently. But he saw right through me. "You're just sorry you got caught," he said before hanging up. Maybe he's right. Maybe I am more upset about getting caught than about what I did. But isn't that normal? It was years ago. Who holds on to college drama this long? Mia says I'm deflecting instead of reflecting, whatever that means. She thinks I should really ask myself why I can't admit what I did was wrong. But what's the point now? Alex has made his choice. Mr. Perfect, who's never made a mistake in his life, can't forgive a few lapses in judgment from literal years ago. The papers are still unsigned. I should just sign them. It's clear he's not coming back. But something keeps stopping me. It's not hope. He's made sure to kill that. Maybe it's just the weight of reality sinking in. I really thought he'd get over it. That he'd calm down and realize our marriage was worth more than some stupid mistakes from the past. Instead, he's put up walls I didn't know he was capable of building. The man who used to look at me with nothing but love and trust now won't even glance my way. I set the papers down again. They can wait another day. Maybe tomorrow I'll feel more regret. Maybe tomorrow I'll understand why everyone thinks I'm such a horrible person. Maybe tomorrow I'll actually feel bad about what I did, instead of just regretting that I got caught. But tonight, all I feel is bitterness, loneliness, and anger. Anger that he turned nothing into everything and left me with nothing in return.